Oh, cool. So I said EIK. This Hampton University Alumni Association. She's also the former president of the Hampton University Alumni Association for Georgia, and an alumni of Inroads Association and the West End Merchants Coalition, and is an adjunct professor. Michelle Gipson has contributed to Essence, Chicken Soup for the African American Soul, Chicken Soup for the Recovering Soul, and Where Did Our Love Go? Love and Relationships in the African American Community. Ms. Gipson currently resides in Atlanta, Georgia, and I would like to welcome Ms. Michelle Gipson to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. After a while, I started thinking, who is she talking about? But thank you all for spending your afternoon with books and words, because such a beautiful day in Atlanta. There's a million things to get into, but books and words is always our favorite. Travis Hunter, and Carla asked me if I needed his bio, and I probably should have, but I have known Mr. Hunter since his first book, The Hearts of Men. And what a bio would never tell you is that he is much, much more than a writer and an author. He is a person who is active in his community. He has the Hearts of Men Foundation, and it's not an organization that he just heads or that he starts, but he is involved in every day. He has more than 12 books, well, 12 books to his name, including The Hearts of Men, Married But Still Looking, Troubled Man, One Woman Man, Something to Die For, A Family Sin, Dark Child, his young adult books On the Come Up, At the Crossroads, To the Hard Way, Mama's a Virgin, and we are so excited to hear from him about his latest release, Married But Not Really. And he is a filmmaker. Are we going to see the trailer today? Okay, so we're going to see the trailer for his film as well as get a taste of his upcoming book. Will you please join me in welcoming Travis Hunter? I can't keep anything in my hand. I can't keep anything in my hand. Travis, you're nervous. Turn it on. Hello?
Hello, hello.
Okay. No, Travis.
So
Travis, there are people here.
you,
Travis, there are people here.
whatever you want to do, it's all right with me.
This is what I put. I've been putting up with this for 2 decades.
You make me feel so brand new.
I might as well not be here, Carla. Is there something else you want me to do?
I just want to spend my whole life with you. Oh, shell, yes.
Was I supposed to hit the background?
You were supposed to. You messed it all up. Go
I
ahead.
messed it up. I apologize. What a lovely voice.
Ta-da.
Is that next, the songwriting?
I used to write songs before I wrote books.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
I worked with the pedophile, Mr. Robert.
Did you really?
I did.
Oh, wow.
I did. But anyway, we're not talking about Robert Kelly today.
So we will go back to
Okay.
your first book, The Hearts of Men. And I don't know, for those of you all who are aspiring writers or are in the publishing industry, Book Expo America is the largest book conference in New York. And I believe that's where we met.
That's
I was
right.
the director of advertising for Black Issues Book Review back in the day.
Yep.
The Closet in the Sky. It was this very small office on the 77th floor of the Empire State Building. And Melody Guy, who was your editor
Right.
at Random House,
Right.
called me and said that she had acquired a wonderful manuscript from an up-and-coming artist that we would be hearing so much from 20 years later.
Yeah.
You're still writing.
Isn't that crazy?
What was that experience like, getting your first book deal?
You know, I didn't know anything about the book industry because I didn't write a book to become an author. Well, that kind of sounds stupid, right? Because you write a book, you're an author, right? But I didn't try to like set out to be this author. So I have this foundation I heard you talk about a little earlier. So my foundation, we mentor at-risk kids. And so one of the things my mom did when I was growing up, I never had a spanking, never in my life. My mom
I don't believe that story.
never had a spanking.
I'm gonna have
My
to
mom
call
did not
somebody.
believe in spankings. She was like, they used to beat slaves to make them conform.
Gotcha.
I'm smarter than you. I had to wash everybody's car in the neighborhood, even in the wintertime. Sweep the street with just a broom. You know,
Yeah.
she just created punishments. By the time I was acting up, I mean, and then in the wintertime, like, she would make me read.
Okay.
That was my punishment.
Okay.
Just read. And I stayed in so much trouble. The summer of my 7th grade year, I didn't go outside. One day I had to read Roots. You know how big Roots is?
That was good reading for you.
And then I got a little older and I got in trouble. She would be like, and she saw I like reading. She said, give me them damn books.
Right, that's not a
Just
punishment
sit
anymore.
in here and just sit in here and think. So one of the things that I wanted to do with my foundation was get them to read. But I could not find a book with positive black men in it. I could not. I looked hot. There was one, and I always tell R.M. Johnson that if had I known about the Harris men, I would have never become a writer.
Really?
Yeah, because that's an awesome book,
It is a
right?
wonderful book. It is a wonderful book.
But I didn't know anything about it. I was finding, Michael Basin was out, Why Men Cheat, Terry McMillan, Waiting to Exhale, or Kick Him Out in 30 Days, Why Men Are Dogs, just all kind of stuff, right?
Right.
And we always the characters. The black men is the bad guys. So I was like, I want the guys to read something. So I had no idea that I even knew how to write a book. I like reading though. So I just started writing these little chapters for the guys to read and little short stories. And then I was working at this bank. I hated it. I worked at Prudential Bank. Riley, that guy right there, Riley used to work there too. So I hated it. I would wake up every morning when the alarm clock went off. Damn! That's a terrible way to start your day, right? Then I got to go 285 and fight with traffic. I got road
yes.
rage.
Yes.
By the time I get to work, I'm sweating. It's 8 o'clock, or 8:09 in my case, because I was always late. I stayed on every probation Prudential Bank had. They changed my hours and didn't even tell me. I'll come in and make a lie. Hey, look, man, he said, don't worry about you good. I said, man, I'm good.
So you could finally be on time to
Yeah,
work.
I'd be on time. But I'm on time for everything else. I just didn't like work. I've never been late for a book signing.
No.
But I was never on time for work. So when I got laid off, well, I was supposed to be on the little third wave, but I changed with somebody so I could get on the first wave to get up out of
To
there.
try to get out of early.
Yeah, so I used the severance money to self-publish the book.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I was laid off, and so the kids was enjoying the book. I mean, the writing. So I was like, let me put a whole book together if I can, and that's how the Hearts of Men became. Because the name of the foundation is the Hearts of Men Foundation.
Right.
So I just titled the book after that.
Writing with a purpose is your brand. You always attack a social issue, an issue that is relevant to a variety of communities. What makes you, because you could write a fiction book without touching on any social issues. So why is that an important thing for you?
Okay, when I used to write songs, right, I was working with this guy named Trey Lorenz. Y'all ever heard of Trey Lorenz? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Trey used to sing with Mariah Carey. Trey and I went to high school together.
Oh, wow.
Right. So Trey's mom was my teacher. She used to kick us out the class all the time.
That sounds believable.
That's why I got to graduate from high school with a 1.6 GPA. Sure did.
Is that a true story?
It's a true story. I graduated with a 1.6. I played basketball and football. You needed a D to play sports.
And that's what you went with?
I got a D. The first day of class, I would say, what I need to do to pass this class? All right, I'm
D.
good.
You got it.
But I graduated from college with a 3.5.
Very
I
good.
got a little older and,
Matured.
Yeah,
Very
so-
good. We'll take
But
that.
anyway, I never did homework, never studied. I ain't never take my books home.
This is not the direction I wanted this interview
Okay, but
to
anyway,
go.
I'm telling you, you can't be lead. I can't. That's why I couldn't work. That's why I was always late. I can't stay in that box. You know me. We done been through this before.
We have,
Okay, so
Travis.
you should, when you agreed to
I
interview me,
know.
you should have known
That was my
that I
fault.
might start singing and go off kilter to someplace else.
Yes.
But anyway, what was I talking about?
We were talking about writing with a purpose.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Okay, so I was working on Trey's record, right? So Mariah was married to this guy named Tommy Mottola, who was the head of Sony Records. So we were leaving one day. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and we were in this building in New York, and we were leaving, so we hit the elevator to go down. So Tommy hit the elevator to go up. So I said, do you ever stop working? He said, I'm going home. I said, oh, you live in the building? He said, no, jump on. So I got on the elevator with him, went to the top floor. He had a helicopter waiting on him, right? So I said, damn, Sony Music is treating you pretty good, right? Now, this is 1992.
Okay.
Okay. His response is, Sony is okay. But if you really want to make some money, Travis, invest in prisons. I'm like, what?
Wow.
So then I'm looking at this thing as differently. Most Def, no money behind Most Def.
Right.
Public Enemy, no money behind Public Enemy. DMX, I'll rob you, I'll shoot you, I'll kill you. Lots of money
Right.
for DMX.
Right.
Jay-Z, I'm a drug dealer, I'm on the corner, I'll whip him with the stuff. Lots of money. So I'm starting putting two together. You're promoting something that'll poison young black minds to send them off to the penitentiary. Because when the kids are at a certain age, their friends and their peers are more important to them than their own parents.
Yes.
You know, at a certain age, they're
Yes.
more impressionable. And so they're getting these kids and they're building these prisons right and left. They're making them private. So when I say all of that to say, when I had an opportunity to say something on a national scale, I didn't want to use the platform to perpetuate ignorance. I wanted to make a difference, whether I sold 1 copy or 100,000 copies.
Right.
And it seemed like I've done both.
You have.
So
I don't know about the one. I've never seen the one copy, but
I
I've
think
definitely
Mama's a Virgin might have sold 2.
that now. Maybe you have that one. So
whatever.
Is that why you use your social media platforms the way that you do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always talking. You know, Michelle gave me, she thought she was insulting me.
No, I did not.
Yes, she did. But she actually gave me the best compliment I ever received in my entire life.
I would never insult you, Travis.
She did. She called me Travis X.
I was never trying to insult him.
She said, okay, Travis X, because I'm always cussing the police out and white folks out and whatever.
So this is what was lost in translation. I was like, all right, Travis X. And you took it as, all right, Travis X. I would never do that. I'm supporting.
She meant it the
No.
whatever, Travis X. But anyway, thank you. So anyway,
appreciate
yeah, that's why I use my platform, you know, I'm never out there. Like, I never repost videos of black folks acting stupid. Because all that does is validate them killing us.
Right.
So, you know, I know a lot of people post things and they'll say, oh, look at these fools. Or look at us. But I'm not going to, we can have that conversation at home,
Right.
not in public.
Right.
So I just, you know, when we're not the ones shooting up schools, and we're not the ones that you should be afraid of. We don't go shoot up movie theaters and, you
But
know.
the perpetuation of the image.
Right, but
is
because
what-
they control the media. So if they want black folks to look ignorant, that's what, you know, even with the music industry, they'll go pluck some little kid out the ghetto, make him an offer he can't refuse. You know, the Calio projects or whatever, make Lil Wayne a millionaire.
Right.
And so he can say, I get high, I can smoke dope, and then the kids think that's cool.
Right.
And next thing you know, yeah, Lil Wayne's a sacrificial lamb for them.
Right.
He's rich. Now he got tattoos on his face. He got pants off his butt. He's 50 years old, he getting high all the time,
Right.
you know. And I see kids in my juvenile center who comes from really, really good homes, but they got tats on their face because Lil Wayne and whoever Kevin
influence.
Gates, all of these guys that are out there, whatever. So, you know, it's like a uphill battle all the time. But you know.
When you have something to say, when you have an opportunity to say something, you use it to say something of relevance.
I try, yeah.
I have asked this question to another author, so I'll pose it to you. Do you think that should be what most authors do? Like use their platform to solve a problem or to engage readers in an issue? Or should they, you know, be entertaining only?
You know, I can't say that. I can't answer that question for them. And everybody's not meant to be that. You know, everybody can't carry that.
Right.
You know, so it'd be unfair for me to put that on them. Because some people just are entertainers, you know.
Yeah.
I think that we shouldn't, like, listen, Kanye West. He's only a genius because he said he was a genius. That's it. So we say, I am the most impactful artist. No, you're not.
Right.
Whatever happened to Michael Jackson, Prince,
Right.
you know, I mean, Whitney Houston. I mean, come on, we got so many people. You're a rapper and you don't even make music. You take other people's music and mix it up. That's
Right.
not genius. That's just
Right.
creative.
Right.
And then you ignorant. You know, like slavery was a choice. Like what? Me and my dad got in an argument about it. I stopped talking to my dad about 6 months because he said that stupid shit. Oh, stuff. Sorry, I be cussing sometimes.
Children.
But
they're not
he
here,
did say
okay.
the same thing. You know, slavery was a choice. You know, he could have jumped off the. Shut up.
Right.
I said, Dad, didn't you just get out of jail? Yeah. Was it a choice for you to be there? No. Why you ain't kill yourself? So it was a choice, right? I said, shut up, Travis. Yeah, exactly. Shut you. I stopped talking to him. I was glad he wasn't raising me.
So the commentary that you're hearing now, follow at Travis Hunter, because it doesn't stop with this. It goes Travis E. Hunter. It goes on with the president and Miss Liz.
I done got Donald Trump blocked me on Twitter, right? With his little punk ass.
That was one of your proudest moments
Yes,
in publishing.
that was Donald Trump blocked me. Okay,
Yes.
whatever.
He does not hold his tongue, and a lot
thought
of
the
his
Secret
creativity.
Service was coming to get me, but
Well, I
whatever.
mean, I had bail money set
I
aside
was
for you. I
like-
knew it was coming.
no.
Miss Liz is one of our favorite hosts, as well as your nosy neighbors that you
Yes,
have on
yes. I'm always
Facebook
talking
and-
about my little life stories. So I hadn't written a book since 2012. I think in 2013 I did a film, and so I had to take a little break. I actually took a break from Facebook. I hadn't been on Facebook in about a month or two. It was just too much. It's like
It's a lot.
too negative. You
Yeah.
know, every time you turn around, the police slamming some black guy or black young lady against the wall. And then I think that what they're doing is trying to get us to normalize that, to take away the shock value.
Desensitized.
Yeah, to desensitize. So when a black person gets killed, we're like, oh man, well, no. So we won't start rioting anymore. It'll just be business as usual.
Right.
So my feelings be getting hurt too.
Yours?
Yeah, I'm sensitive.
Are you?
Yes, when it comes to black people, I don't like to see my sisters slammed up against the Waffle House floor.
No. I get that, but so it emotionally.
Yeah, I
okay.
had to de-stress. I had to go work on something in my house, tear a wall down or something.
Yes. So you as a writer have evolved. And I don't know if you can feel your own evolution, but from the very beginning, from the Hearts of Men, and I used to have a column called Their First Words. So from your very first words in publishing, where you may or may not have known what you were doing, but you had passion about what you were trying to say, and your characters elude that passion, to understanding the mechanics, growing as a writer, knowing more about the business, knowing more about how things evolve. What gets you to this point where you are publishing Married but Not
Really?
Really?
Okay. So I got a royalty statement, right? I got this royalty statement for Married But Still Looking. And so 110,000 copies.
It's amazing.
Okay. And I've sold almost 1 million books
Total.
total.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But wait a minute. Damn all that. I ain't never made $1 million. The books don't cost $1. I should have made at least $1 million.
Right.
They $22 for every last book you got up here costs $22 or something like that.
More than.
Right. So why haven't I at least made $1 million? Now what happened was they would give me these $100,000 check, $80,000 check, or $50,000 check. I was a single dad, and I ain't like working. I don't want to go to no job. So I was okay with the trade-off, getting a $100,000 advance.
Right.
And I can raise my child and be home when he comes off the school bus, or he got a football game out of town. I don't have to ask a boss, hey, can I have off Friday? My son, that wasn't working. So I understood the trade-off, and it was cool.
Right.
But my son's grown now.
So let me put a pin in that before we start talking about Rashad leaving the house. What you're mentioning is an advance against the contract.
Right. So the way they
just
do,
for those people that may not know.
Okay, let's say they want Married But Still Looking, and they'll give me, let's say, well, Travis, we want to publish Married But Still Looking, and we'll give you $75,000 for that book.
Which is an amazing contract.
$75,000 for in advance against your royalties. So what that means is that they'll give me the $75,000 up front. So I have to, my royalty rate might be like $1 a book. Right. So I got to sell 75,000 books in order to break even. Most black authors don't sell 75,000 books. No. But I at least had my agent write it in there where if they didn't get the 75,000, they just didn't get it. So I wasn't under any pressure to be like, because that just makes no sense to me. I mean, the book's not costing $1. So you're getting your money and then some.
And then some.
So
because you have to have a platform before you start getting royalties too, right?
Right.
A certain number of books have to be sold before you start.
Right. So you have to earn out your advance. So I got to sell enough books for them to make their 75,000 back, and then I have to get royalties. Right. And then my royalties start.
Right.
So I might sell 76,000 books and I'll get a check for $1,000.
Yes.
Because they gave me the 75,000
up front.
Right.
Right.
So anyway, it was whatever. It don't take me about 5 or 6 months to write a book. I'll just be making stuff up quickly.
Please don't think that that's how he writes.
About my
that
business.
is not true.
I'll shoot it off to the publisher.
That is not true.
And when you got a publisher, they edit it.
You know how the children say facts. This is fiction. No.
That's true. It don't take that long.
It doesn't take you long, Travis, but it's not like you just make up stuff.
I just make it up. I go downstairs in my office and I just, it's fiction. It's just making it up.
But you have a character outline. These are impressionable writers that are getting into
don't follow me, because I done fuck y'all up. So I'm just saying, miss you all. I stopped cussing, but I just had a relapse.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh.
I quit.
We missed that entire part of your life.
I just stopped about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that makes sense.
I had a relapse, but I ain't gonna cuss no more today.
Yes.
All right.
We get 1,000 of that advance if you do.
Not 1,000. I'm self-published now. I gotta watch my pennies. So I got that royalty statement right, and I'm like, man, okay. So when I first came out, there was no Facebook, no social media like that. So you have to get up in the morning, go to the radio station, and try to drum up some people to come to your book signing. Have a book sign at a store. There was a lot more black bookstores back then, so they would help out a lot. And so now with social media, you don't really need a publisher like I did. They've kind of done their job for me already.
And you already have a large following.
Well, yeah, that's why I said they did their job already. So, okay, I don't have to sell 100,000 books to make $100,000 like I did with them. I can sell 10,000 books and make $135,000.
So your evolution as a writer is being more savvy about the business end
right.
of publishing.
And so now I'm purchasing the rights back to all of my books. So I hope people don't write them. Hope people don't buy them. Right. So they can stop printing them. Then I can get them back because they're like, oh. In my contract, it's like if they're out of print for a certain time.
Right. You get the rights revert back to you.
So people's like, where can I get your books? I'm like, don't buy them. Don't do that.
Check them out from the library.
Yeah, go check them out at the library.
Yes.
Go borrow them from somebody. Don't buy them. Don't buy them. So that they can. So I've gotten 6 of them back already.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. So
very good.
It's getting there.
Okay. So what is it about the characters from Married But Still Looking that stayed alive in your head enough for you to write another book about them? Because there's a gap between when
it's
you
like
published.
15 years.
Yeah.
So I did a poll on Facebook.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to write a new book. I don't know what I'm going to write about. Which one should I write about? So it's like 400 comments. And of those 400 comments.
Out of the 400 comments, 300 were marriage proposals. And then you got to the 100. Because that's what happens on Travis's posts. Women propose to him all the time.
I don't know why. I wouldn't wish me on nobody.
I wouldn't either, but they do.
But they don't know, so, you know. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But so most of the comments were like, Married but Still Looking. Because that's the biggest selling book. That's the one that's, none of my other books sold over 100,000 copies.
Okay.
I mean, I think The Hearts of Men was like 40, 50,
And
something
it
like
has to be your longest in print book, right?
Yes. Yeah, it came out. So, and I still don't have the rights back to that one. Random House holding on, like, nope. Whatever. We'll get it.
It's a good book.
So that's why I just did the post, and that's the one that came back the most. So that's the one I wrote.
So for those of you all who have not read Married but Still Looking, let's introduce them to the main characters that they're going to see again in this book.
Okay, so the book is about this guy named Genesis Styles. And all of my characters pop in from book to book. So the first book was about this guy named Prodigy Banks from Philadelphia. He moved to Atlanta. He used to be a thug. So he moved to Atlanta to get his life together. He bumped into this older man named Papa Doc. And Papa Doc,
and we love Papa Doc,
kind of took him under his wing and kind of showed him what being a man was all about. So then Genesis is Prodigy's friend in The Hearts of Men. He was just his little homeboy that they used to run women together, right? Okay, so then when I was trying to figure out what I was going to write my second book about, I just picked Genesis out of there and just wrote his story. So that's the book that actually, I think it was more the title than the actual book, because I think Hearts of Men is a better book.
But the title is
Married but Still Looking, right?
Yeah.
So
I actually had someone on Facebook to say that they would never read a book
What you
called
looking
Married
for?
but Still Looking.
Right. I had women at my book signing one time. Married but Still Looking. What you looking for? You ain't supposed to be looking when you're married. And she bought 2 copies. She walked by the table about 4 times, frowning up at me. I'm
Mad
like,
at you, but then had to buy it anyway.
let me see what this book is about.
Right.
So.
And I think people are pleasantly surprised when they look at the cover.
Yeah. So I think Publishers Weekly said, despite its title, Married but Still Looking is
right
about da-da-da-da-da. So
it's good marketing.
Yeah, people just look at it.
So as you are entering this phase of your writing career where you are now managing every aspect of publishing, right? You're in charge of promotion, marketing, distribution, layout, cover design, all of those things. Do you feel that the 20 years in publishing has helped you?
Oh yeah. I mean, because I did the same thing my first time. Remember, I was just self-published. And I went to the book expo, and it cost $1,000 to get in, and y'all ain't tell me. So I was sitting there with a bag of books on my shoulders.
And couldn't sell not one of them.
I couldn't give them away. I'm like, hey, come here, bro. Nah, I'm good. Damn.
And just for clarity, Book Expo is to sell books to bookstores.
Right.
So it's not necessarily a venue where you would sell books to individuals.
Right.
So
People give them away.
People give them away so that hopefully a bookstore will say, yes, I want to carry Travis Hunter's book.
But you know how I got in?
No.
Eric Jerome Dickey, right? So he just saw me standing out there. I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was. Because nobody knew who I was. So he was walking in with all these little white people, carrying his books and bags, and he just sitting there.
I hope Eric sees this.
He know the story.
Okay.
So he's like, yo, what's up, bro? You know, black folks. You know how we do when we in a room, a bunch of white folks, and we see each other, and we like, what's up, dog? So it was like a bunch. The Book Expo is like, McCormick Center is like 5, 6 football fiels. Full of books. And the black area is about big as this.
Big.
Right. So, when we see each other, we like, so.
And I had Black Issues book review, so
She had a tent with a carpet.
I had a tent with a carpet, but it's where everybody came.
Right.
Because it had a sign that said Black Issues book review, so that meant black people.
Right.
So everybody felt comfortable just congregating
congregating over there.
Yes.
So Eric was like, you coming in, bro? I said, nah, man, it costs $1,000 to get in there. He's like, oh, hold on a second. That's the first thing we ever said to each other in life. He's like, oh, hold on a second. So he went over to this little white guy and took his badge off. And he was like, come on. So the white guy, I still got the badge.
Do you really?
Yes. It's like, it says David Warlock or something, Crackle, something. I was like, so he was like, come on. So he said, what you got? So I gave him a copy of the book, right? So he's walking, reading it. But he's Eric Jerome Dickey, right? So he's walking with me. Well, I'm walking with him.
This is white milk in my coffee.
Maybe milk in my coffee.
Yeah.
Liar's Game.
Liar's Game, which is huge. Okay.
That was Liar's Game. He was promoting that book. So he had, the white people carrying his bags and, he just walking like. So he's walking. So he's like, let's say I bump into Michelle. He's like, hey, give her a copy of the book. So now he has validated me because Eric Jerome Dickey just told her, here, take his book. Right. So then I'm bumping into everybody I'm bumping into. Here, give them a book.
Right.
Hi, Eric. Hey, what's up, baby? How you doing? Hey, this is my man Travis right here. Travis, give him a book. So I gave Melody Guy a book, Janet Hill a book, like all of these big executive editors.
Janet Hill was over Doubleday.
Yeah, and she was Elin Harris's editor. So I gave all of these people books, right? Because of Eric, right? Yeah. So, I don't know. All right, I'm cool. So now I go to, when he's signing Liar's Game, he had the table with all of the white people holding the book open for him so he could sign it. And so he said, sit down. Put yours up here.
That's amazing.
So, and I just met this dude 15 minutes ago.
And you have to understand the environment for this to happen, for it to be.
So 15 minutes ago, I just met him. Like, he's like, sit down, put your books up there. So when he signed the book, he was like, hey, Travis, sign him a book. Only people that were like in the business, like not just
industry, right?
Yeah, industry people.
Right.
So I go home, after I'm broke now. I paid my money to get to Chicago. And before let me back up. So. Okay, I'm going to have to back up now. I was mad with Elin Harris, right?
Rest in peace, Elin.
Yeah, he was such an awesome dude. But I didn't know him at the time, and I was mad with him. And I wasn't mad with him. I was going to work. He was on the radio, right, on V103. So every time I get to work, if I don't want to talk to some woman, she goes, you ain't on the down low, are you? And I'm like, what kind of...
You don't know, Elin Harris's first book was On the Down Low.
So, yeah, he's writing these books about regular men sleeping with other men, right? Which, to each his own, I don't care what you do. But, I'm getting to work and I ain't done nothing to nobody. But I'm like, what? So he's on the radio one day and I'm like, that's why these folks walking up to me with this. And I'm going off in the car by myself because I don't want to go to work anyway. So later on that night after we did the little signing, Eric introduced me to everybody. So we exchanged numbers. I get back to my hotel, which was like the red roof. The $29 a night Chicago special. And so he's at the Parker Meridian or something like that. So he's like, yo, bro, and I'm in the room, just watching a little TV.
Oh, I know where this is going.
So he says, yo, bro, what you doing? So I'm like, nah, I'm chilling, man, watching TV. What's up? He's like, yo, Elin got a party tonight at his house. So I said, Elin Harris. He said, yeah, you should come. I said, he invite me to the party. He said, no, you can come as my guest, bro. So now I'm looking at him sideways. What you want to invite me to a party for? I'm from the hood. Black men ain't really that nice to each other like that.
Just off the.
So he already did too much earlier. You told me to sit down beside you.
He's trying to take your $1,000.
Yeah, I'm like, man, bro, what you? You should have let me know what I owe you up front.
Right.
So I could tell you hell no. So he's like, yo, man, you need to come, man. It's going to be a lot of people that you met earlier today. It's a nice party. Elin's going to do it good. So I'm like, nah, I'm good, bro. So he's like, man, come on. I said, all right, so where is it? He said, I'm going to send a car for you. No, you ain't. I ain't that type of dude. I'll catch a cab. So you going to send a car for me? You don't send no car for me. So I said, I'll catch a cab. All right. So he gave me the address. I went. So he's downstairs. He meets me downstairs. Yeah, what's up, bro? So I'm all a little apprehensive because I don't know this guy like that. I don't know him like that. We don't trust each other. Black men, we taught not to trust each other. So I'm looking at him shady. He just as nice as he can be. Yeah, man, I was thinking, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, So we going up this high rise, this beautiful building, right? So we get to Elin's apartment, and I'm like, I don't like going places I don't know nobody. feeling a little uncomfortable.
Right.
I walk in, Elin Harris, baby, I've been up all day reading your book. I am so happy.
That's so amazing.
He gonna talk about, and I want to fight this dude up in his house. And Carl Lewis was up in there switching. Anyway.
Stop it. Stop it, Travis.
So it's all good. So Elin said, come here. I mean, this house is amazing.
It is amazing. I don't know how I didn't see. I got there early and left early.
Oh, I thought I saw you there. But anyway, I'm like, damn, I ain't living like this. It's like a high rise in Chicago overlooking Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan.
And it's just amazing. This place looks like it belongs in a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, damn. So
cussing again.
I said, damn, that don't count. So he said, come here. So he grabbing my hand, right? I'm like, okay. So we walk and he go to the bedroom now. So he goes to the bedroom.
So you got other people doing it.
So I'm like, I could beat this dude, so he gonna get beat up at his party. So I mean, I'm seriously thinking like this, right? So
I know.
So he has my book on his nightstand.
And he was.
So he's like,
you.
I need you to sign it. And he had already got to it was only like 250 pages, so he had already got to like 225. Don't tell me the end. Just sign it for me.
That's amazing.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So I signed the book. All right. So then, he's introducing me to people. This is Travis. He is awesome. This book is, and so now he's validated me. The two biggest, it's only three big black men, Walter Mosley, Eric, and Elin.
At the time, yes.
At the time. So, you could say Omar Tyree, but.
Well, Omar started in that time.
Yeah, so he's there too. So, but he wasn't at the party.
No.
So those two were like really, so it's like cool. So anyway, fast forward, I come home. And then the next week, I started getting all these phone calls. Hi, Travis, this is so-and-so from Random House. We'd like to offer you a book deal. Hi, Travis, this is so-and-so from Warner
Books. Oh, that's right,
Books.
because there was a bidding war for your book. Okay.
So I was like, I had to get an agent because I ain't want to get jerked. I already got jerked in the music industry. So I was like, let me get an agent. So I got Marie Brown. She negotiated the contracts. And so that's how I got started.
First of all, it's an amazing story. Yes,
Yeah.
That's an amazing story. And the generosity of Eric is always
even to this day.
something.
Oh, let me tell you what he did. So I called Eric when I got the first deal before I had Marie. So the first deal was like $50,000. He was like, "No, take that." I said, "Hey, bro, I'm broke." Talking about don't take $50,000. He's like, "Hey, don't take that because if they started off at 50, they willing to at least go to 75." So I'm like, "All right, bro." So the couple of hours later, I got another call. I called him again. It was like 75,000. Don't take that. I said, you just told me not to take 50 to look for the 75. Well, if this is a different company, Travis, if they call him with 75, they'll go to 100. All right, bro. So the next day, somebody else called, was like 120. Hey, Eric, I'm just letting you know I'm taking this deal. He like, don't take that deal. Like, Negro. I said, look, Eric, I am past due on everything. Everything. And I have a son. So he said, this is even better. Better than,
right.
So he says, sit tight, give me your address. He FedExed me a book with $3,000 cash in it.
Are you serious?
He said, just pay me back when you get your advance. Then we went on a cruise and I tried to pay the dude back. He's like, man, just put that in your foundation. I'm like, I ain't got no $3,000 you putting in my foundation. But he's like a cool dude like that. So
cool.
That's why I thought he was a little fruitcake. And I was telling you, too nice. He'll be being that nice. But anyway, that's my dog.
So now I forgot where we were going with this.
Me too. I got off on a tangent.
Chicago was magical.
Chicago was awesome.
Chicago Book Expo was magical. I
Right.
left early because I had to run the booth.
You had
next
work to do.
morning.
You had a job.
I had a job.
Yeah.
I had a job. And at 9 o'clock in the morning, Oprah came by.
I saw Oprah. I saw her. Like
She
she's
was
so
in
famous. You
pink.
just take a picture of her.
They had closed Book Expo down so she could walk the aisles freely.
Yeah.
And I was exhausted because it was a long week. And some woman came by and said, Oprah's on her way. Oprah's on her way. And I don't know where all the black writers came from, but they all flocked to the tent at the same time. And everybody was holding copies of the magazine. And I talked to Stedman first, and then I talked to Oprah, and that picture ran like in Black Issues for like the next 20 years.
Absolutely.
Like that was the best thing ever.
She's royalty.
She is royalty, and she's book royalty, which
That's
is even better. So going back full circle, we were talking about the beginning of self-publishing 20 years ago. And now with the advent of social media, and that you have a history of 15 years, 18 years of writing, and followers, which makes being self-published much easier. Because you had God-given graces for the first, I mean, just running into Eric one, and then Eric responding to, and then Elin and all of those. Because, you know, at that moment, Elin saying to Janet, have you read The Hearts of Men, would have changed everything. So it's your word of mouth without social media, right? So for a lot of writers that are trying to establish their own books right now, that don't have the benefit of 20 years in the business and having the history that you have, what advice would you give them?
Maximize social media. You know,
but this is the thing, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of people feel like if they get a lot of followers, that would mean they're selling a lot of books, which is not the same thing.
Not the same thing. I mean, you just have to find your hustle. But you have to hustle.
You have to hustle.
You have to humble yourself. And I mean, when I first came out, I was selling books out of truly the trunk of my car. Like, I had books all the time. And so you just have to find your niche, and you know, you just can't tell yourself no.
Okay.
You just have to keep going every day, and just, you know, just try the different things until you find something that sticks for you. Always be out there. Always have a card. Every time you meet someone, always have something to sell your product. And I mean, I just think that social media, maybe it's because it's just me, and I don't know, but I think that social media helps out so much.
It does.
Because you don't have to go all over the world.
But can I just say that you used to go all over the world, too?
And I still will. I have to go to, I'm going to Dubai in October.
Okay.
And I hadn't put a book out since 2012. But the lady just used to read all my Facebook posts. And so she's like, I'm ordering your books. It's an expo. It's some kind of book expo in Dubai every year.
Yes, every year.
So I mean, I didn't know anything about it. But she just read the Facebook posts all the time and was like, do you want to come to Dubai? I'm like, let me get me over in Dubai.
What you're not saying, which I'm going to say for you,
Okay.
is that Travis never turned down any opportunity to promote himself. So if it was a book club in the middle of Mississippi, he was going to a book club in the middle of Mississippi. He would have dinner with everyone. Some of your book club folks are here. Like, it's, you always made yourself available to fans. That's number one. And number two, I think the thing that you use, how you utilize social media, is not selling your book. You sell you. And when I first started with Black Issues Book Review, I never forget, I can't even remember who said it, but I don't forget what they said. Because I was selling advertising. They're not buying the magazine, Michelle. They're buying you as the person selling the magazine. And so because you are transparent on social media, and because you show very different sides of yourself. You're funny with the Miss Liz post, and then you're serious with your political post. But I think people buy into you, and then they can buy your book.
I think that's true. I mean, because the books come and go, you know. And then I did a stage play for Mary But Still Looking on Broadway. I did the film. I wrote and directed and produced it, and then
in like 2 days, right? Like
it was 5 days.
It was quick.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't like to pigeonhole myself, and just like, you know. So I think that you try to have to create a brand, you know, for yourself. And so I was surprised. One of my friends said he can't afford to donate to my foundation, but he has a T-shirt business. So he sent me. I posted this. Eric sent me for Christmas about 2 or 3 years ago a stamp. You know, like a notary stamp, when you sign books, you can stamp it.
What's your name?
So I lost it. So I had ordered another one. So I posted and said, Eric, I got another stamp, right? So he took that stamp that says Travis Hunter and Jim Rose Publishing. He took the stamp and made T-shirts.
Oh, nice.
And so I posted the T-shirt, and within like 1 day, he gave me like 40 T-shirts and said, well, you know, raise money for your foundation. So I didn't put a price on the T-shirts. I said, well, anybody wants these T-shirts, you can just make a donation to my foundation. I'll send you a T-shirt. So within one day, all of them were gone. And one lady made a donation of $500.
Wow.
And I didn't even have her size.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
I'm gonna get it for her though. I'm still working on that.
But you also share what you do with the students on the Hearts of Men Foundation.
Right,
on your
right.
Facebook
I mean, I
page as
post
well.
pictures and post stories all the time about
Right.
the kids from the foundation. So, and it's people always run and hustle. So they come up to my office. Actually, this guy right here, Carl Lewis. Stand up, Carl. I'm about to tell all your business. I'm about to tell all his business. So Carl is a writer, and let me tell you how he contacted me. He said, "Yo, bro, I just got out of prison on some bullshit." So he was a student at UGA, right? He graduated from Morehouse, so he was working on his master's at UGA, and he got caught up in some credit card fraud. Okay, so he had to do how many? 5 years? 5 years in the penitentiary. So when he got out, this happens to me a lot. I do a lot of prison. I go speak at prisons all the time. I'm always at the juvie centers. So I get a lot of mail and emails from people inside prisons, right? So you can sit down, bro. Okay. So Carl hit me up one day and was like, "Yo, man, I read your book when I was locked up. I'm trying to write my book. Just trying to get out there and get my feet up under me." So I'm like, "Oh, no problem. Come on up to my office." So he came up to where my foundation is, and I met with him, and just what? When you got locked up? No. Do you
mind? Can I tell them?
I have never been in control of this interview.
There you go.
I am.
I was about to say, how you gonna ask her?
I am just here.
So I used to go to the public library and write during the day when I got out of prison. And I was emailing Travis while I was in the library. And somebody calls me. As soon as I send an email, like 5-10 minutes later, somebody calls me on my phone and I don't recognize the number. So, I put on my prison mug and I'm like, "Hello?" And then, another guy's on the phone and he's like, "Hey, man, you owe me some money. I heard you out now." And I'm like, "What is this?" And then all of a sudden he started busting out laughing. He's like, "Oh, man, it's Travis, man. What's going on?"
Oh yeah, I did. I say that, man. You owe me some commissary, Nick. I forgot you owed me. You remember we was locked up together, and he was like, "What?
You get into
I wasn't
character
locked
so
up with
quickly.
you?" He was like, "What you mean I owe you money? I ain't owe nobody no money." I said, "You owe me some money, partner. And now that you out, I'm gonna get my money." And so he's like, "Man, I don't know what you talking about." So I'm like, "Nah, dog, I'm just messing with you. This is Travis, man. What's up?" He was like, "Phew."
That is the most important part of the story. I don't know how, as a writer, you missed that.
I
but
forgot all about that. I'll be doing that all the time. I'm gonna get beat up one day.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
So, is it time for us to read the?
All right, yes, since we done got off track, let's read. But I need some help. Okay. Kevin? You Kevin, right? You. What's your name? Roderick. Damn. Roderick, I need your help. Can you help? Come on up here.
So, for those of you all, this portion of the program is called the impromptu stage reading.
That's right, because I think book signings are
The
boring.
moment he started doing plays and films, it became like a whole different thing.
Can you help me?
And to order his book, we're going to TravisHunter.com to do pre-orders, correct?
Do those microphones work right there? Huh?
That one does.
That one?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Y'all gonna have to share. So, all right. There you go. Here you go, young lady.
You never knew this was
Okay,
gonna
so
happen.
what let me give you guys kind of what we're gonna do. I'm just tell everybody. All right. So I don't like book signings. They boring. Stand up and read. But y'all can read too. That's why you're here, right? So I think it's boring. So I'd like to try to have different people read different characters. So Michelle's gonna be the moderator. So all of your parts that are highlighted, that's your part. So Roderick, you gay. You ain't really gay, but you gay in the book. You gay, the character's gay. He ain't gay. He's just a cross-dresser. He dressed like a woman on the weekends, and he refused for you to call him by his real name on the weekends. Okay? So put your little flamboyance in it. Let's put a performance on, okay, when you read Kiki. Okay? Whatever you see is highlighted, that's you. all right? And you're Terry. So when this happens, Genesis and Terry are married, right? When the books...
Are you Genesis?
I'm
in
Genesis.
The reading? Okay.
Okay, so Genesis and Terry are married, right? All right, so when the book first starts, Genesis is in jail. He's a former professional basketball player. He's still trying to stay in the business as a coach or...
Why you couldn't be Kiki?
I could.
Okay.
But I probably, well...
You should be Genesis.
I'm going to go ahead and be Genesis because,
yes,
I mean...
it's more reading.
But, so when the book starts, Genesis is in jail. He's in jail because some woman overseas says he has a child, but she has a child by him. She filed child support, and he didn't want to break up his marriage because when the first book started, when the first book ended, a lady showed up at his wife's job, which was his wife's mentee and employee. He got her pregnant, and she had a baby, and she dropped the baby off at the bookstore on the day of their wedding. So they got over that. They're raising the baby together. Now another woman has showed up pregnant. And so Genesis got arrested for child support, non-child support. And so when the book starts, he's getting out of jail. Prodigy picked him up from jail. He's taking him home. And this is when we're going to start. Okay, so you're Terry. You're the moderator.
I'm the moderator.
All right, let's go.
Are you going
And
to cue me?
action.
Genesis pulled the key out of the door lock and rang the doorbell. When his wife didn't answer, he started banging on the door.
Terry, open this door, please.
Terry Stiles was a very pretty woman. She had flawless mahogany skin, pearly white teeth, and wore a tiny diamond ring in her right nostril. She was vegan and believed in clean living. She worked out religiously at least 5 days a week. Her 5 feet inch frame was a solid 137 pounds. She always kept her hair in some neat and natural style. Today it was faded on the sides with a nappy fro on the top. She was a neo-soul conscious woman woke type, a fringe follower of Rastafarian ways since childhood, and she certainly enjoyed a good puff on the cannabis from time to time. She owned a chain of small but growing Afrocentric coffee bookshops where black people could sit as long as they wanted without the race soldiers being summoned by some scared white chick. She owned 3 stores in 3 different cities and was plotting a fourth out in Oakland, California. Terry walked over to the front window, opened the shutters, and cracked the window.
What do you want, Genesis?
She said her eyes were puffy from crying. Genesis could see the pain in her wife's puffy eyes.
Will you open the door?
He
That
pleaded.
woman is lying.
I doubt that she is lying, that she is.
Lying. Go ahead. You still reading?
Lying is your thing.
Oh. Lying is your thing.
What? I don't lie to you. We keep it 100.
Do we?
Terry asked in a way too calm voice.
I found the letter, Genesis. You knew about this last year, yet you didn't tell me anything. Is that keeping it 100?
Genesis was like a deer in the headlights.
I didn't say anything about the letter because it's not true. That chick ain't nothing but drama.
Of course she is.
Terry said, sarcastically nodding her head.
Everyone is full of it, except you.
Oh, so you're going to believe a stranger over me?
Yes.
Now that's some bullshit. I expect that from the state, but not my wife.
I can't do this
sorry,
anymore.
Terry said, then closed the window.
Terry! Terry! Terry!
Terry came back, opened the shutters again, and cracked the window.
Genesis,
Terry said in a stern voice.
will you please stop all of that yelling?
Open the door, baby. You got me out here yelling like a damn fool.
No,
Terry snapped.
I don't have you doing anything. I can't make you do anything. Now even keep your penis in your pants.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. She's lying.
But why, Genesis? Why would she lie on you? You make $10 an hour, and that's when you decide to go to work. So why would anyone lie on you?
Oh, now we taking shots.
Genesis said.
Genesis, please just go away.
Go away? Go where? I live here.
You used to live here when I thought we had something real, but you're keeping secrets, and that's not a marriage.
I'm not keeping secrets. Now I done spent 6 days in jail, and I got to come home to this?
Lower your voice.
Terry Bart.
Everything is my fault. Fine. I'll take it. But from now on, you can do everything your way, just not here. Now, please leave.
I ain't going nowhere. This is my home.
This is not your home anymore.
Terry said.
If you don't have trust, if we don't have trust, we don't have anything.
I'm not going to ask you again. Open this damn door before I kick this motherfucker down. This is my house.
Lower your tone, and if this was your house, then you would be able to get in it. Don't you think?
Terry, you have 10 seconds to open this door before I kick it down.
And you will be right back in jail. Go away.
She said, closing the window and then the shutters.
Go away? What the hell?
Genesis wasn't sure what to think or do. He turned to the driveway and looked at Prodigy as if he had some answers to this drama unfolding, but all he got in return was a concerned look on his friend's face. Genesis turned back around and rang the doorbell again. Then he started banging on the door and yelling his wife's name again. He could hear Terry's small feet stomp back towards the window. She opened the shutters and cracked the window for the third time.
What, Genesis?
She snapped.
What do you want?
What the hell is wrong with you? Open this door.
There's nothing wrong with me. For the last year, Gabby has been acting like I'm the Antichrist, and I've never done a thing to her. Now you have kids popping up out of nowhere. What have I ever done to either of you? Please tell me. If you can tell me one thing, I will open this door. Just one thing.
She said with tears flowing down her brown cheeks.
You don't know how to talk to people.
Genesis, please leave.
Terry said through her tears.
I just need some time alone.
Alone? I've been in jail for 6 days. That's not enough time for you?
No.
She said flatly.
You went to jail because you're shady and a liar.
Why do you keep believing that woman you don't even know?
Because I know you.
Fine. Open the garage and let me get my truck. I'll leave.
My car is in the shop.
Terry said.
I wrecked it, and I'm not about to walk or find a ride. You walk or find a ride.
You wrecked it? Are you all right?
I'm fine.
Wait a minute now. Oh. How did you wreck it? What happened?
It doesn't matter.
Look, I know things are messed up now, but this isn't right, Terry. That woman is lying.
Maybe she is, maybe she's not. But the fact that I don't believe you saying everything I thought we had was a lie. Believe you.
That's not true, baby. Open the door so we can talk.
Don't baby me.
Terry said, her voice cracking.
Just go away.
Genesis heard someone clearing their throat and turned around to see flamboyantly pseudo-homosexual neighbor Kevin pretending to get his mail. He liked Kevin, but this wasn't the time for his shenanigans.
Kevin, take your nosy ass in the house. Don't nobody get their mail this goddamn time of night.
Kevin stopped pretending he wasn't paying any attention to the feuding couple and put his hands on his hip.
Wait a minute, Genesis Style. First of all, you know the rule of the HOA, and you're in complete violation of noise, Ordinance 12-3C.
Kevin said, wagging his finger.
And furthermore, this is not what you want. I can assure you of that. Don't let the lipstick fool you. And the name is Kiki.
I ain't calling you no damn Kiki. Take your ass in the house and mind your business, Kevin.
Excuse me?
Kiki said, walking across the street toward Genesis.
Oh, Lord. Man, don't bring up your ass over here messing with me. I'm not in the mood.
Kevin Brooks, or Kiki as he liked to be called on the weekends, was a sight to be seen. Monday through Friday, Kevin was a well-respected attorney who dressed in a suit, tie, crisp starched shirt,